Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Rizqul Mufaddhal. So, in this video, I want to share my knowledge about seven types in English text. Okay, let's go to the explaining. Okay, first of all is descriptive text. Descriptive text is a type of text used to describe or explain the physical characteristic, features, traits, or visual aspect of an object, place, person, or specific thing. Its purpose is to create a clear mental image for the reader of the subject being described. And then, purpose of descriptive text is the primary purpose of descriptive text is to provide detailed and comprehensive description of the subject so that the reader or listener can have a good understanding of what is being described. And then, structure from descriptive text. Descriptive text usually has well organized structure. The typical structure includes one is general statement, an opening part that provides a general overview of the subject to be described. And second is description details, the main part that contains specific descriptive information, including physical characteristic, color, shape, size, and more. And third is conclusion. So the concluding part that can summarize the description and provide an overall impression of the subject. And then types of grammar used in descriptive text. So in descriptive text, use various types of grammar like adjective. Adjectives are used to provide further description of the subject such as color, shape, or qualities. And then sensory language. The use of words that describe the sense like sight, hearing, smell, and touch helps create a more vivid picture. And then present tense. In descriptive text, often use the present tense to give the impression that the subject being described is right in front of the reader. And then comparatives and superlatives. Comparatives and superlatives are used to compare the subject with others and to describe its uniqueness or comparison with similar objects. And the example from descriptive text like this. And second is narrative text. So narrative text is a type of text used to tell a story or share an experience. Narrative text typically contain elements such as characters, plot, setting, conflict, and resolution. The primary purpose of narrative text is to entertain readers while informing them about that happens in the story. So, purpose of the narrative text, the main purpose of narrative text is to entertain or convey a story. Additionally, narrative text can be used to teach morals or life lessons, inspire or describe personal experiences. Secondary purpose may include building an emotional connection with readers and creating tension or curiosity in the story. And then, structure of narrative text is typically have a structure consisting of several main elements. One is orientation. This is the beginning part that introduces the background of the story, characters, the situation. Second is complication. This is the part where conflict or problems rise in the story, and this conflict triggers the events of the story. And third is resolution. At this stage, the conflict is resolved or the problems are addressed, leading the story towards its conclusion. Fourth is coda. This is the ending of the story where all story threads are tied together and a moral or lesson is often conveyed. And then types of grammar used in narrative text is use various types of grammar depending on the writing style and the context of the story. Commonly used grammar includes like simple past tenses. This is often used to describe events in the past. And second is past continuous tense, used to express events that were happening at the same time as other events. Third is past perfect tense, to detail events that occurred before other events in the past. And then adverbs of time, such as yesterday, once upon a time, and in the past, are used to provide time references in the story. And then is adjectives, used to describe characters and settings in the story. For examples about the narrative text, like that. Okay, third is report text. So definition of report text is a type of text used to present factual and objective information about a specific subject, event, or topic. This text is written with the purpose of providing clear and detailed understanding of the subject to the readers. So purpose of the report text is the main purpose of report text is to convey accurate and systematic information about the subject being discussed. This is done without including the writer's personal opinions or interpretation. And report text is used to provide in-depth knowledge about a specific topic, enabling readers to understand, make decisions, or take relevant action. And then structure of report text. Report text typically has an organized structure with the following main components. First is title or heading. Usually includes a title that identifies the subjects or topics of the report. And second is introduction. This section provides background or context about the subject to be reported. And third is body, the main part of the report that contains detailed information about the subject, event, or topic. It usually consists of several paragraphs organized systematically. And fourth is conclusion. This section provides a summary or conclusion of the information present in the text. And fifth, references. If applicable, this section lists the sources used in writing the report. And then types of grammar used in report text is that tends to be objective and formal. Common types of grammar used in report text include first is passive sentence to emphasize the information present rather than the individuals performing the action. And then technical vocabulary, especially if the report is related to scientific, technical, or specific topics. Technical vocabulary is used to explain concept and data accurately. And then is nominal praise, used to provide clarity and detail in explaining the subject or topic being discussed. Okay, that examples about report text. Okay, fourth is anecdotes text. So in the definition, anecdote text is a type of text that contains short stories about small, humorous, interesting, or emotionally evocative events. These stories are often based on personal experiences or everyday observation. So the purpose of anecdote text is to entertain readers while conveying a specific message or lessons. Anecdote often contains elements of humor or moral values that engage and amuse readers. So structure is anecdote text is typically follows a narrative structure consisting of first is orientation, opening the story with context, time, place, and character info. And second is complication, introducing the event or incident that becomes the focus of the story. Third is evaluation, conveying the character's reaction or feelings toward the event. And fourth is resolution, closing the story by revealing how to even conclude or the lesson learned. And then grammar used in anecdote text. Use various tenses and language structures depending on the story's context. Usually, simple past tense is used to narrate past events, and additionally, an informal writing style and creative word choices are often employed to aid humor or evoke emotion. For examples like that. Okay, and then is recount text. So, definition of recount text. Recount text is a type of text used to narrate or recount past events or experiences chronologically. The purpose of this text is to provide a clear picture of what happened, when it happened, where it happened, and the feelings and reaction that occurred during the event. And purposes of the recount text is the primary purpose of recount text is to provide information about specific experiences or events. It can also be used to entertain readers by telling interesting stories, and it can be used to document personal experiences or important historical events. And then structure of the recount text. First is orientation. So introduce the background, place, time, and who was involved in the event. And then series of events describes the events that occurred in chronological order, detailing what happened. And then reorientation provide a conclusion or comments relate to the events or experiences that have been described. And then types of grammar used in recount text. First is simple past tense. So most most recount texts use simple past tense because they focus on past events. And then time connectives to indicate the sequence of events such as first, then, next, and finally. And then past continuous tense, used to describe events that were ongoing at the, at the time other events occurred. For the examples like this. Okay, next is explanation text. So definition of explanation text. An explanation text is a type of text that aims to explain a particular process, concept, or phenomenon with the goal of making the information more understandable to readers. This text is often used to present scientific, technical, or complex information in a clear and systematic manner. And then the purpose of explanation text is the primary purpose of the explanation text is to provide a comprehensive explanation of a topic or concept. It aims to help readers understand how something works, why something occurs, or how a process takes place. Another purpose is to ensure that the information can be explained clearly and systematically. And then, structure of explanation text. Explanation texts typically have a well organized structure. This structure may include first is general statement. So the text opening that provides a general overview of the topic to be explained. And second is description, more detailed explanation of the topic or concept being elucidated. This may involve the use of definition, fact, and illustration. Third is cause and effect. Explanation of the cause and effects relate to the topic. And fourth is procedure. If the topic involves specific steps or procedures, they will be present in a structured manner. Five is conclusion, a summary of the explanation, often emphasizing key points. And then types of grammar use. In explanation text, typically use grammar that is objective and informative. This includes first is use tenses. Usually employs tenses in the form of past simple or present simple depending on the context of the explanation. And then adverbs used to describe to what extent, how often, or how something occurs. And then nouns used to refer to the concepts or objects being explained. And then is verbs to employed to explain specific steps or process. And for examples like this. Okay, last is procedure text. Procedure text is a type of text used to provide step-by-step instruction on how to perform a specific action or process. Here are the main elements of procedure text like first is definition. Procedure text is a type of text designed to provide a guide or step-by-step instruction on how to perform a specific action or process with the aim that the reader can follow the instruction. And what is the purpose? The purpose is of procedure text is provide clear and structured information on how to perform a specific action or procedure. It can be used in various contexts, such as cooking, assembling items, operating device, or performing everyday tasks. And the text structure, procedure text has a common structure that consists of first is purpose. This part explains why the action or procedure needs to be done. And second is materials. This lists all the materials or equipment needed to carry out the action or procedures. Third is steps. This is the large part of the procedure text and explain the steps to be followed sequentially to achieve the goal. These steps should be clear and detailed. And fourth is opening and closing. So in this procedure text often begin with an opening that briefly explains what will be described in the text and end with closing or conclusion. And types of grammar use. So procedure text use a simple language and clear grammar. This involves using imperative sentence to provide instruction. For examples, like mix ingredient A and ingredient B. That the use of passive sentence may also be used depending on the context. The grammar use should be in line with the text purpose, which is to provide instruction that can be understood by the reader. Procedure text is very commonly used in various everyday situations, including user guides, receipts, assembly instruction, or task instruction. Its goal is to enable the reader to follow the steps correctly to achieve the desired outcome. And for examples like that. Okay, thank you. I think that's all for me. And I'm sorry if I have a mistake. Allahul muwaffiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.